Hey everybody, welcome back to Next Play Records. I'm Andy, and I have another video for this week. What I listened to last week, and I was happy to pull some of these out and play them. Some of them I haven't listened to in a while. There are two new arrivals into my collection last week, and I'm going to start with those. First one, unbelievable reissue, probably one of the best in the jazz genre of the year. This is Patrice Rushen's Prelusion on Prestige. 1971, I believe, is the session year here, but great lineup. Her style, it's kind of got that Bill Evans feel to it, some classical moments, but also very jazzy and prominent and heavy. One of the best things about this album was that Joe Henderson is featured on every song, prominently on most songs. Obviously one of my favorite tenor sax players, so great session, and in one of the best eras of his career, in my opinion, the 70s, when he was bouncing on with the Milestone label. But Prelusion, Patrice Rushen, just good stuff right here, and it's all analog Jazz Dispensary series, which they're putting out some really good titles lately. So happy to listen to that one last week, and new arrival, so I'll probably be listening to it again in the coming weeks. But Kevin Gray mastered this, and it was cut at Coherent Audio, pressed at RTI. So good stuff right there. It's what you want out of hard to find, higher dollar original sessions to be pressed like that at an affordable price. You can't beat it. So let me lay this over here. Okay, next one I listened to, which I've been needing to get this in my collection for so long. Nick Drake, Brighter Later, just an unbelievable orchestrated session for him. It was a lot different. It wasn't just acoustic. There was the producers on this album used backing strings and different instruments that you don't see on his other two main studio albums. But yeah, I needed this one. I had the other two, Five Leaves Left and Pink Moon. But Brighter Later, this is one of my favorite album covers. I know the colors combos, the picture of him right there, the perfectly parallel guitar, the font, everything about it, the cool picture on the back. But the texture to these reissues, I've never seen an original, so I'm assuming they may have had that on them, but I just really see if we can catch that on the screen. I just love this album, everything about it. Very happy to finally put it in my collection. Huge Nick Drake fan, and I really needed that one. There's the Island label that his records came on. All right, next one I listened to. This is not a new addition to my collection, but I listened to Stonewall. This was a release from Noble Records, exclusive release. Put it on the sweet black red splatter vinyl there. Permanent Records is the label here. Stonewall is it's a hard rock, psych rock, a little southern rock feel to it. A lot of powerful riffs, good vocals, harmonicas thrown in there. Just one of my favorite that Dylan at Noble Records has endorsed. And I know there's more popular ones, but this one's definitely top 2 or 3 that I've seen him release in any way, shape, or form. So Stonewall, awesome psych hard rock that you might want to listen to if you haven't. It's more on the hard rock side, some fuzzy guitar, but not a whole lot. It says on this hype sticker that if you like Led Zeppelin, Leafhound, Jerusalem, Orangutan, you'll like them. I think those are probably pretty good comps. Another record I listened to last week. It's been a while since I pulled this out on Blue Note here. Herbie Hancock, Inventions and Dimensions, one of his earlier releases with Blue Note. Paul Chambers, Willie Bobo, Chihuahua Martinez. Now this one has a little bit of a bossa nova feel, a little bit of Latin flair, obviously with Willie Bobo on the congas. Paul Chambers' bass on here is unbelievable. A little bit repetitive. I think I put that in my Instagram post. A little bit repetitive at times. Like my daughter was listening to him. She was like, "Oh, change the song. It's the same thing over and over and over." And it can get like that, but she doesn't listen to as much jazz, so some of the intricacies that they do, some of the changing up, as it does sound a little bit repetitive. But there are some unbelievable songs on here. Happy to have that. Again, another top-notch record cover right there. I believe he's in New York City on that. Herbie Hancock. Great release. Next one. I listened to a very underappreciated Joe Henderson album on Milestone. People talk about a lot of the other ones, some of his live sessions on Milestone, Tetragon, The Kicker, some of those regular studio albums are more popular than Black Miracle. Interesting record cover. I guess that's the theme this week, is cool and interesting record cover. So Joe Henderson on Milestone, Black Miracle, just a beautiful, hard punching jazz fusion album. He covers My Cherie Amour on here, which is awesome. Gazelle, Black Miracle, Immaculate Deception, just hard-nosed jazz fusion. I love it. I mean, he does it. Him and Miles Davis do it best, and Herbie Hancock for me. So Ron Carter's on here, electric bass. Oscar Brashear, Snooky Young on trumpets and flugelhorns, George Bohannon on the trombone, Don Waldrop on the trombone and tuba. Lots of different instruments on here. We got electric piano. We have guitar. Lee Reitenauer on here on the guitar. Awesome. So happy to listen to one of my Milestone Joe Hendersons last week. One that I showed on my summer vinyl tag. I actually pulled it out and listened to it after that. That's The Visitors, Neptune. Again, I can't stress enough how awesome this album is. It was a rare find for me. I was happy to. It was a blind buy, but just the combination of the Grubbs Bros saxophone. You got an alto saxophone and soprano just playing together in all these tracks. It's a unique sound. The rest of the band that's with them do an unbelievable job. I do like the fact that they covered Naima, John Coltrane's Naima. They do awesome on that. The title track, Neptune, is awesome. Just listen to it. Very happy to have that one. Let's move away from the jazz. I listened to some 90s country. This is actually early 2000s. But she started in the 90s. Leanne Womack, one of the best country voices, I think, of all time. There's some really good songs on here. Just classic, smooth singing, a little bit of harmony on there. But there's more where that came from. Is a great country song. I May Hate Myself in the Morning. I believe that one might have got some radio play back in the day. The Last Time. Waiting for the Sun to Shine. Stubborn. Psalm 151. Kind of is a creative way to reference the scripture from Psalm on that one. But yeah, Leanne Womack, this was kind of a rare promo copy, early 2000s release. So I was happy to also find that one, which you don't see around very often. So Leanne Womack in my collection, and enjoyed listening to her last week. Another one I pulled out, I hadn't listened to Monk in a while. So we got Thelonious Monk himself. I have a Japanese pressing of this album. There's not many, even if you include Bill Evans, who a lot of people think is one of the greatest. There's not many that are as fun to listen to on their own as Thelonious Monk. I have this album, but I'll get to it. But I have this album and also Solo Monk, I think it's called. Another great solo album of him. This one's actually was originally Riverside, but when Japan reissued it, they did on the Milestone. But the cool thing about this is most of these songs are by himself, but then the last song he plays with John Coltrane and Wilbur Ware on the fourth track, and that is Monk's Mood. So he has Coltrane and Wilbur Ware on bass, Coltrane on the sax, obviously, for that one song, and the rest is just him playing and his unique style. So really happy to listen to that one last week. Loved it, enjoyed it. Next one I pulled out, this is a new arrival. I upgraded. I had a 2014 75th pressing of Tina Brooks True Blue. This now came out on the Classic Vinyl series earlier this year. I finally replaced that with this, and it's blows it out of the water with sound. Obviously with the all analog that these releases are, but it's just a great session here. Tina Brooks, True Blue. You've got Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, Duke Jordan, Sam Jones, Art Taylor. Just good classic hard bop. Next, Donald Byrd chant. This was one of the early tone poets. This is one of my favorite tone poets. Donald Byrd with Pepper Adams, Herbie Hancock, Doug Watkins, and Teddy Robinson. But just pulled that out because I wanted to hear some Donald Byrd and Pepper Adams together. And I actually forgot Herbie Hancock was on it. He's unbelievable on it. There you go with the inner gatefold photos. I'm an old Cowhands on here. Chant, Sophisticated Lady. Maybe the best version ever of Sophisticated Lady is on here. Yeah, 1961 killer right there. And the last one I listened to last week, which was probably the first one I listened to because it's in the stack last, is one of the most impressive Pablo sessions. Okay, the gifted ones. It's hard to find. Mine is the Philippine Press, which I actually included on my summer vinyl tag also. So I listened to that as well as the Visitors that I showed earlier. But the gifted ones, Dizzy Gillespie, Count Basie, Mickey Roker. Mickey Roker's so good on here. Just well recorded. The trumpet stands out here because the mute he uses on it. Obviously he's got this style also. Very good stuff right there. Count Basie on the piano. Those are the two main, but again, just an awesome session. If you haven't listened to it, this was recorded in 1977, so you got some old veterans going at it, and it's really bluesy, but also kind of like similar to the alternate blues. It's kind of out there blues, jazzy blues. So I mean, some of the best you can get. Some different sounds and different styles of playing, rhythms and things like that. So the gifted ones on Pablo, look it up and get it if you haven't. All right, that's some of the records I listened to last week. Looks like I was more jazz heavy, mixing it a little bit with Stonewall, Leon Womack, and Nick Drake. But I enjoyed it, and I've got another stack I've been listening to this week, and I'll get back with you. Again, check me on Instagram. I usually post a picture when I put it up there and listen to it. So until next time, keep spinning that next play.